welcome to Ohav Shalom Messianic Congregation. Now, the term Messianic Congregation is something new or something old. We could say reasonably that it is a 50-year-old phenomenon, and we would call that the modern-day Messianic movement. But if we would dial back to the first, you would find Jews and Gentiles worshiping together. I mean, objectively speaking, both Jews and Christians have the same foundation, tell the same stories, read the same Bible. Isn't that a reasonable thing for us to come together since we have the same faith? But there's a catch. There's a rub. And the rub is over this issue of who was this Yeshua, Jesus of Nazareth. And over that particular question, there was this big separation that has now been around for 2,000 years. Is he the Messiah or isn't he the Messiah? And that became the difficulty that separated two groups of people and are largely still separated. But that's not God's original intention, and it's not his intention now. His intention now, and as well as his original intention, was for Jews and Christians to worship together. And the reason why we can worship together is because finally, there's a group of Jews and there's a group of Christians that want to worship together and that agree that there is a captain of our faith. There is someone who fulfilled many prophecies, hundreds of prophecies. And since we're in agreement about that, why we can be welded together in friendship and towards the accomplishment of the goals of the Messiah. What are the goals of the Messiah? Well, the one main goal was to extricate man from the difficulty caused in the Garden of Eden, whereby mankind was going to be extinguished when his body was worn out. Sin, transgression, coloring outside the lines, caused death to our bodies. But it also caused a spiritual death, whereby our spirit man, that part of us, that intuitive part of us, got deadened, hardened, so that we have a body, we have a mind, and we have this intuitive quality, which is the heart of the man, the heart of men and women, our innermost person, that which is really who we really are. For we are not really just our bodies. I mean, our bodies are really, especially as you get older, you say, well, it isn't what it used to be. And, am I interested in showing off my body? Not hardly. You notice all the clothes we wear to cover it over. But that's a temporary thing. It only lasts 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years or so. It's a temporary thing. It's just a housing. That's not the real us. We can have these defective bodies that are wearing out and worn out. That's not the real us. The real us is our spirit man. And that spirit man, by sin, that intuitive quality got deadened, hardened, to where it became vestigial. And mankind has been so long functioning now with just our bodies and our intellect, our soul, our mind, that has to do with our reasoning and our emotions. And most of mankind is still just functioning with our bodies and our mind. But as originally created, that wasn't the original deal. The original deal was we were made in the image or the likeness of God. The likeness of God. That we have many of the faculties of God. And God has three aspects. He had a physical body in Yeshua, right? He's the creative mind of the universe that invented all things, right? And he also has a spirit called the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of holiness. That spirit, the Holy Spirit, was the spirit of the man Yeshua. The man Yeshua had a body. He had an intellect, a mind, and he also had this intuitive quality, his spirit man. And when he was crucified, and when they destroyed his body, that meant that spirit of that man, that they killed off his body, but temporarily, but that spirit of that man was set loose to be free, that you didn't have to get in touch with the spirit of that man. You didn't have to be you don't have to be in Jerusalem when he was in Jerusalem in order to be with that man, not any longer. That spirit was set free to be in all places at all times. And that includes Palm Springs. That when we focus on Yeshua, when we focus on the Bible, when we're praising the Lord, when we're minded about what God does and who He is, and when our world gets enveloped, even just temporarily for an hour or two, and when we become so focused on it, what happens is we are in the presence of that Spirit, the Spirit of Yeshua. We no longer have to be in Jerusalem when He's in Jerusalem. No, we can be anywhere at any time, call Him to mind by just thinking about Yeshua and thinking about the things He did and focusing on Him, and that draws Him into our presence and us into His presence. And so it is that we call that being in His presence, where we assume our proper posture of great deference towards Him, and it is due. So that's why we gather here. We gather here to admire the Messiah, admire what He did, and focus on it, and relive it, and dwell upon it, because that's when we are happiest, when we are in great admiration or deference. And I'm going to call that admiration and deference and bring it to a different word that is more extreme. Extreme deference. Extreme admiring. And we call that worship, whereby we take our proper place. He is perfect, and we are not. He is God, and we are not. He is on a whole different level than we. And when we take that posture where we know our place, that's called worship. That's why we get together. And we get together in a place of intimacy with the Holy Spirit and intimacy with one another. And that's when we're happiest. That's when we're in our right minds. Our right minds have been restored to that happy place. And we can't really be fully happy except when we're in the Holy Spirit, when we're in the presence of the Holy Spirit. And how can we do that? By drawing Him in, by praising Him, and by reliving the Bible, etc., and by doing all of these things of great deference. Yes, that's when we're our happiest. So I would encourage people, particularly those in our live stream audience. You know, I know you're watching television, and we all watched probably more television than we should. It's a passive experience. We sit there, we pretty much don't move a muscle, and we just watch, etc., etc. I want to encourage our live stream audience I want to encourage that it's more than just watching. Join into the worship. You may be alone. You may be with your spouse, wherever it is. I want to encourage you, do the thing. Who's watching anyhow? Rise to your feet, raise your hands, clap your hands, join in the singing. Join in. You may be home. You may be home, huh? And you may be alone. Okay, all the more reason. You're alone. Nobody's watching. Nobody's watching. And who's to be embarrassed about? If you clap your hands, if you raise your hands, if you worship the Lord and sing out His praises, the more we do, the more that we do to draw close to Him, the more He will do to draw close to us. So this week and weeks in the future, if you're part of our live stream audience, I want to encourage you to not just watch, but to join in the worship of the Lord. Give Him that deference. It's in your enlightened self-interest. That is when you'll be the happiest. You tuned into the broadcast to get happy. Well, let's get it on. So when the music starts, don't be embarrassed. Even if there's somebody else in the room, that's your time to be with the Lord. So if we're going to be with the Lord, let's be with the Lord. Huh? That's why we call it a worship service. And so if you're watching, or whether you're here, let's get rid of some of the inhibitions. Join in.